Now we were talking about big data and artificial intelligence and its impact on cryptocurrencies and blockchain projects. I have three valuable panelists at this section, and the panel will be in Turkish. So for those of you who want to get it translated, you can get your headphones right there in the back. So if you want to listen to it in English. Now let me welcome my panelists, Mr. Koray Kocabaş, Director of Big Data Analytics at Demirören Teknoloji. Thank you very much. Merhabalar. Hoş geldiniz. Siz şöyle...
Hello.
Mr. Umut Tufan, Chief Technology Officer at Cimri. Hoş geldiniz siz de. And our third panelist will be Ramazan Sarı, Digital Innovation and Business Development at Turkish Airlines. Hoş geldiniz siz de. Evet, hoş geldiniz.
Hello. And we can now switch to Turkish. It's about big data and artificial intelligence. And for crypto impact with three valuable guests. And all of them will have experiences, knowledge to share and for us to benefit. If we'll have the time, we can also host a Q&A session, perhaps in between or perhaps at the end of the panel. Let's start with you, Mr. Koray. We talk about big data, artificial intelligence. On social media, we see many videos. We see ourselves saying things we haven't or doing things we haven't. Where is the certainty of the future in its approach? For blockchain and crypto, however, in terms of developing crypto and causing change or innovation, what can AI do or the big data do? When you look into it, it doesn't have to be cryptocurrencies. When you look at other sectors, you can see AI and big data also have different frequencies of impact. It may change it directly or perhaps provide optimization indirectly. When we focus on optimization, when I'm developing a product, if I store all the data in there and create a stack, I may reach out to other customers and perhaps develop better and fix bugs easily and develop strategies based around it. That's my indirect advance, as it will save me costs for bug fixes and such. What about the user acquisition costs when it comes to cryptocurrencies? We see an user that's to be brought and to kept. You know, to have a user, find a user, bring it in and keep it there long enough and make them have actions. All of these have costs, and many platforms and digital marketing experts have developments based around it. Which ones are more beneficial or how cost saving they are? What is the most optimum is our question here. And in here, different platforms, if you store all the data on a single platform, these will help you indirectly to save on costs. That is to say, in today's world, we see in Amazon and the customer optimization topic, where the end user, the customer, is obsessively acknowledged and do not make anything that will make them sad. It could be recommending or communicating them at the best time and best place ever, potentially. In the personal world, we see we are all big data constructors, and in this regard, companies have to develop with end user in mind. After storing all the data, where AI and the algorithms come into play and predict what users will do, where and when, and provide the most beneficial opportunities to them as a structure. Thank you. And Mr. Umut, would you like to add anything? Because you also have substantial entrance when it comes to such topics. Would you like to add anything for our benefit? Sure. In addition to what he said, we can say the needs of the current sector, and we can say that we have to focus on the right product. Tens of thousands of things come out every day, and gathering and focusing on the correct ones are important. I'm at Cimri, and we also work on blockchain technologies, and many sectors now want to work with big data. We have companies. We have yesterday's speakers talking about millions of exchanges and operations daily, and we have to focus on those because costs are rising when it comes to transactions and other actions. And to build customer-based experiences and products, we have to focus and not just exclusively defend the product against customers. You're saying personalization of the approach. What about entrepreneurs when it comes to cryptocurrencies projects and cloud infrastructures are crucial, including for government bodies? What should be focused on when it comes to developments? Yes, in here, in cloud technologies, we have such advantage where you have no minimal restrictions, with the classical role models have. Your team's power will scale with cloud computing, where you can have a team where you can individually look into operations. Managing them will be easy. And cloud technologies will set you to the market faster. It'll help you construct your market presence faster, because managing servers is no longer a thing, but it's about maintaining them or properly utilizing them. So developing technologies to emerge in the markets faster and maintain market presence is a great value, where new products come out every day for the markets. And the consistency of management is important for market stability. That's where the technologies come into play. That's where the steps will be taking. Just quickly, could we close the door in the back? We hear some voices. I also wish to listen to our panelists in great focus. And it will be better if you could isolate the noise from there. Mr. Ramazan, hello. In digital technologies, we observe the change. It is rapidly advancing in recent times, especially for big data and AI developments. We want to talk about their impact on our social life, our business relations, perhaps in the future. What do you have to say? Firstly, I wish to say hello. It's a wonderful event we have here. Thank you for your invite to the summit. The story begins, I like to tell it as a story. It makes it fun to look back on. And from dawn of humanity, there was always a change with a mechanism, a natural thing to change, including the agricultural and the industrial revolutions. And in 2000s, we had an information revolution, and other revolutions kick-started from it. These changes and revolutions and timings in between are shrinking. It is accelerating, yes. In changes, we have great changes, but when you look at the last 3 years, we see great changes. In last 6 months, we see great changes. These are all, let's say, milestones in history, and it's accelerating. I wish to say in defense that in our social environments or businesses, AI and big data talking, or the mid-journeys, is there anyone that does not talk about those today? We talk about those on different times of the day, perhaps. We get excited with new assistants and helpers, with efficiency in our work. Very excited, yes. But there's also fear. What will happen to our businesses? How will we change? Can we even change? Will this be beneficiary or cease? In our previous summit, there was the speech of AI sessions. And in our such panels, we talked about, can AI replace humanity or such questions? Sure, yes, but we don't know when. We see the change in AI going rapidly. In last 6 months, we can see daily development of AI tools on different sectors and fields. And we see them implemented in real life, in actual life on the streets. In our social life, this will have an impact. And we will have a serious concerns, of course, in this regard. As you said in your panel introduction, videos of people talking are almost realistic, yes. And these are part of our daily lives. So much so now we're concerned. And when you look into things, especially in business world for our professions, this is also as important. And its serious utilization has become an apparent. For example, this panel, these panelists, these people joining have certainly thought about ChatGPT. It's essentially an assistant. From our constant information flow in our minds, we see data constantly flowing in front of our eyes. There's a dense jungle of info, of knowledge in our minds and in our eyes. And for categorizing and for observing, this is providing problems. I can say we don't know what we don't know. And in this regard, technologies help us. It helps me categorize what I usually know, but cannot bring it up easily. Not just for ChatGPT, but in other sectors too, there's valuable contributions of the AI. These technologies provide arguments such as added variety of knowledge. In AI, as you know, AI feeds on data and grows and develops itself. And by these developments, our social life is also changing rapidly. We talked about excitement just before in a beautiful panel speech. Our skills are being questioned and cause us to take reactions for actions. Based on a research, I cannot recall the source exactly, but in US in 2030s, they consider 50% of workforce switching to such technologies. And last, in our economic forum researches, we see many businesses and people shrink, but we see new markets and industries open constantly. And our concern now is to take positions in these.
Aslında enteresan noktalara değiniyoruz. Ben bu konuya da sonrasında girmek istiyorum. İsterseniz şimdi sorabilirim çünkü
Actually, in the artificial intelligence, many people has concerns. Would it replace me? Of course, it would make my life easier, but maybe in the future, would it cause problem in my area of work? And we also presented this in news. With the artificial intelligence, you don't even need a presenter. And maybe a doctor thinks that they need a doctor in the future. Maybe an engineer thinks that they need me in a construction in the future, because artificial intelligence might replace me and might do my work with zero tolerance. So, for example, what do you think about this? In medical sector, there are two thought groups. Now, when we go to doctor, we don't look at where they graduated from, etc. But in the next 10 years, we would be concerned about the graduation of the doctors, because everyone cares about their body and they will not want unfamiliar person to touch their bodies. There are two groups one say that let's invest in doctors, but when we invest in doctors, do they meet your expectation? We doubt that, because after software engineers, the doctors are the biggest group that are leaving the country, and also another group is saying that if I can feed doctors with different analysis, the doctors would be able to make the latest decisions, last decision, final decisions. And for example, when our bracelets, when doctor asks you how well you walk, how much you walk, etc., you can't give a concrete answer maybe, but these bracelets gives you how much you have walked, etc. And these artificial things such as Alexa, Google, etc. allows your measurements to be recorded, and also there are information systems online owned by the Ministry of Health that provides doctors with context. For example, AI gets the transcript of our speeches and gets the keywords, and the AI says that and feeds the doctor that according to our researches and keywords, 99% this could be the illness, etc. So, for example, with Da Vinci project, if you want to get service from a doctor from Ankara, you won't have to go to Ankara, and they will all make good things for the future. And alongside this, there are transportation and data information. The people will think about efficiency, and they will make softwares to make us more efficient. Not that they will replace us, but they will help us to work more humanly. And Mr. Umut's ideas, I would like to know them. And one of the vehicles that we use, I'm saying vehicles because in comparison, as we shop online, it's a place that we always use. We always use your frameworks, and there should be a huge database underneath, and you are turning the change into graph. You are seeing that is it better than the other prices, previous prices, etc. So we are working more than 2,000 stores. That means 300,000 sellers, and we are processing their goods, and we are processing more than 3 billion pieces of data, and we have to keep us up to date because we are trying to assist customers. We are trying to help assist the customers, and we are trying to help people to find something in an easier way, or to reach it in a more affordable way. But that was a story. And when I look at the AI side, it will change the game too much, and we think that these will change everything, because you may build systems that make decisions based on the data of 100 years, But here's the deal. In the world, mathematicians and physicists are not being growth now. We are still using our people from 10 years ago, and we cannot develop because we don't invest in sciences, STEMs. We are trying to materialize the previous projects, and in the previous 20 years, a lot has changed, and is the technology is proceeding as we wanted? No, I hope that we are still so long way to go. That's because that people are not investing in STEMs that much, and this is a conundrum. And while we are saying that everything is moving so fast, but we are also having trouble in educating the physicists and mathematicists. And for example, there's an example. Before the invention of the mobile phones, I used to memorize every number. But now the numbers that I memorize cannot exceed 2 or 3 numbers. Maybe that makes us a little bit lazy, because back then we couldn't reach that much information with that much speed. But now there's constant information flow. You are hearing different things even when you are living this. There were many things said and done, but you have a capacity on memorizing these things, and this capacity is being filled like this. You mentioned innovation and R&D. I would like to connect this to the blockchain and cryptocurrencies, and we may have to prioritize R&D and investment, which is better, which is more efficient, which is more cost efficient. So what do you think about this? The most important thing is that idea and the product. You have to have the correct product. Also, you have to have the correct thing. If you are starting from zero, if you are starting to write in your home, if you are trying to do that, you will be trying to put forward such a product, and you would be better choose your files correctly and get support where you can. For example, our Minister of Industry has good projects in terms of this. You may apply for support loans and incentives, and I believe that that will make you more comfortable, because in blockchain, do not forget that you are not racing with Turkey, but you are against the world. So, for example, there's a Horizon project supported by Horizon, and there you write your project and you write what you need, and you are being funded by that, and that gives a huge contribution to your project development. And as they said, that this is not the only problem of Turkey, but also there's a problem in Europe too, and the governments and Ministry of Industry supports these seriously, and this is a serious incentive for innovators and entrepreneurs, right? Yes, it's a problem in having the labor. Maybe we can talk this in the next talk. So we talked about R&D investments, how to prioritize them, for example. Also, there is a part of marketing in them. We are making innovations, R&D. And what do you have to say about the marketing part? The product market thing is important. They should be suitable to each other, and we are putting forward a product. We have to take care of certain things. Maybe you may consider the target audience, and there are things that could be transformation like electric cars replacing the real cars, but the current technologies present huge opportunities, but there is also a huge competition. And I think that helps a lot. And I think that in terms of development, AI can benefit everyone. And let's say that in our streets, there are local shop owners that knows who requires what in that area, and our neighborhood people says to the shop owner that as always, and shop owner provides them exactly what they want, and they are making personalized marketing with the data they gather from all around. And we have to predict what the people needs to have, and we may make necessary adjustment according to that. And these personalized marketing are used by many companies, and you have a limited ad budget, and you have to use it correctly. On the other side, you may provide automatized customer services. You may make your customer happy with quick responses. Also, competition analysis, pricing, and your competitor or the alternative products pricing strategy could help you with your marketing strategies. Actually, the technologies that were mentioned, they provide this to all companies, all everywhere, and we can say that what we have to do is important, and budget is an important point in this. So I will continue with budget with you. But now to our viewers so far, do you have any question about what you have spoken so far? Do you have any topics that you would like to know more about? I don't want to leave it to the last because sometimes we don't have enough time for it. And I would like to take your questions before going to the last round. Any questions about big data and artificial intelligence? Okay, then we've spoken about this in marketing part, about the prediction of the financial income, how can AI is used in projection of these, how can we use artificial intelligence in this. We can look at in a large and smaller picture, and in the olden times the developer had problem about finding data because they didn't know which data to store because data storage is pricey, and the second question was how to find what I need, data I need. But today, as the open software got more popular and as people started to share their data online freely, and you can take many information in real time. For example, in exchange market, you can get information from there easily. There are many algorithms. Also, there are books about this under the name of algorithm trading, etc. There are many machine learning algorithms. For example, should I give sell order, buy order, when to get out, etc. You can do all of these quickly, and many software companies make these, and everyone is investing in that, and people are thinking and predicting how can I get a four of them And when we look at the strategy departments of the companies, they are always trying to make decisions depending on the data, and they are trying to make this with the algorithm decisions. But in Turkey, do they lean on algorithms always? No, because in Turkey there are places where there is no data, but still that suits our dynamics. And I was going to ask you if algorithms did work in Turkey. No, it depends. In Yemeksepeti, for example, there was a problem in like this. So when I look at that, in Yemeksepeti, the çiğ köfte orders had stopped a bit, and we couldn't understand what happened. So, for example, there was no data about the çiğ köfte shops sold all of their çiğ köftes beforehand, because in a TV show called I Don't Know, My Husband Wife Knows, and they ate çiğ köfte there. Because of that, all of the çiğ köfte shops sold all that they had. And now next place, the markets are, and more the players, we can see their effect on the total as the data increase. As the market gets deeper, the small deviations do not affect the whole picture, but we have such a market, and I mean both financial and food sector, for example. We can call it a deep sector, but in our markets can affect from a smallest fluctuation in Turkey. If you remember the GameStop story where people spoke based on data, hedge funds bought GameStop shares based on data, but the small groups got together and they carried those people to the bankruptcy, and I think that we will see more in the future. Okay, now Mr. Umut, while developing the scalable projects, which cloud information system should we choose and picked, and how to make it? And rather than being a fan of a brand, you have to consider where you can use your expertise the best. And I advise you to use what you can use the best. Would there be fluctuation in terms of cost? Not much, because there are bigger players, smaller players, and they are challenge each other always, and they have different programs. So for example, if you get a startup loan, it's $100,000 credit that could meet all of your costs, and this carries you forward. If you say that I should own the service, but still it's about the luck in the sector, what kind of regulations that you are facing with. So if you're working in Turkey and you may not carry your data outside, and if you have the luck in the sector, you should directly start, because pay as you use model begins as advantages, and according to the quality of the equipment that you have, you constantly move forward. Let's open new service, etc. And if you invest too much, you have problems in that. Until the last 2-3 years, we didn't know what was a technical team. Nobody interested in the budget. We would put ourselves where, and when we look at this, the current
I was about to say 90%, but we can say there's a substantial costs in dollars. Sad, really. If only we had not imported but exported technology, it would be great for the Turkish media. But since this is all in dollars, it's like an ever-looming threat, the cost. Yes, it's always a topic of ours for optimization and such. Users know for spots or instance, our distributions are empty, our path makers, our scouts of the industry are absent because of the scarcity of technology. There's an ever-increasing cost too. Thank you. For Mr. Ramazan, in terms of big data and AI, we of course will have some opportunities. And to be the first point of contact, do you see any opportunities for investors, entrepreneurs and such? Sure, when you look into it, the customer's portfolio will have more variety. You may lose your customers very early on. There's opportunities given by technology. Sure, you may even benefit from them. But when you benefit in parallel, or perhaps the newcomers in these sectors may advance the spirit of competitiveness, you say. Yes, and this shouldn't mean that our sectors are different. But of course, being Pegasus or Turkish Airlines or other companies should always consider these. And this competitive spirit will be lasting for the end of times. So you have to adapt and take benefit from all the changes. Turkish Airlines is a large structure, and it's not always easy to change the mechanisms. You may be slow, and entrepreneurs are more lightweight and faster in comparison for customer side of things or business side of things, as many companies in Turkey or in the world are. And we see the change, the conversion of technology and the cloud computing and such provided to people have an effective utilization that provides many opportunities. Such tools and structures carry such businesses onward. And we've been using the data for the longest time, analyzing it in many different sectors even, with many valuable things to learn from. But this is not applicable for all the industries and all the entrepreneurs and startups. But based on data, if you can create value, add value, recognize your customer and your product better, you can advance and satisfy your customer further and market accordingly. And we see many steps taken in this regard in terms of marketing and value making in particular. Today's technologies, when it comes to AI, data, and its ever-feeding presence, creating product from this is really crucial to keep your connection with your customers and develop it even further. And as if to say, prove your bond with your customers. Thank you. We will end our panel here. And I'm looking at the crowd now. If you have no questions, we will conclude our panel. Or perhaps we can create a couple minutes for a short Q&A. No? Okay then. Thank you all. Thank you for being here once again.